You know, when we're talking about, do people have trouble with trying problem solving with decision making? Because it really, decision making is almost a subset of problem solving at some point, because you have to figure out at the end, finally, what are we really going to do here?
Exactly. The whole reason for looking for causes of things is to ultimately fix it.
Right.
And when you put a fix in place, you're actually making a decision. So if I didn't just do it as a mental exercise, my whole purpose for finding the cause is to say, ultimately, what will I do? And always in life, I have choices. I can do A, B, or C. Yeah. So I am making a decision. Problem solving always involves making a decision. Right. The two are connected. They're interrelated, always. Although I also make decisions in other places of my life. I decide what school I'll send my child to, or where I'll go on vacation, or what car I'll purchase, or house, or whatever. Right. So I make a lot of decisions outside of problems, but I always make a decision connected to a problem, always.
Right.
Right. But the process is different. Each has its own process. If you're going to make a decision that you don't feel bad about, or that isn't catastrophic, or that you don't beat yourself up over, or that you don't think about forever after and wish you had done it differently, there's a different process. And the biggest thing for decision making is to establish criteria. If I'm going to purchase a home, or buy a car, or send my child to school, then I want to establish some criteria.
And what might that be? Is it, because a lot of times I would think right off the bat, well, you put a pros list and a cons list, you know, a positive, negative, strengths, weaknesses, however, whatever I want to term. The old, you know, okay, I've got more here, more, you know, that's the one, you know.
You could do that. That's a simple way.
But that would be a simple way. But if I have 5 strengths and 3 weaknesses, if I go by the numbers, I'd say the strengths. But what happens if the priority of these 3 is heavier? So I mean, people sometimes, you know, maybe they might need a little bit more help in how they develop some criteria. So what might you suggest that they do?
Criteria for decision making is that I really do identify all the things that I want my decision to be or to have. So I establish if I have a successful solution, it will use minimum manpower. I'll do it as fast as, I'll implement it as fast as possible. Perhaps it will be the least costly. If I'm purchasing a home, for instance, someone might say, I want this to be within so many miles of work. Or I want it to be not only a place to live, but an investment for the future. I want it to be a place that I can build onto, that I can expand over time. I want it to be a place that allows me to have a lot of privacy. So I create criteria. And then once I have that criteria, then I do just what you suggested, which is I say, which of those is more important than the others? And then I start to, I wouldn't say I rank them, but I weigh them. Okay. I find out which is the most important one, and I might give that a high number, and then I weigh the other ones accordingly. Right. So once I establish all my choices, I can go back to my criteria and see which of those choices best satisfies the criteria. Okay. And so now I have a decision that I feel I've thought through pretty well. And that
now if someone's making a decision, and let's do the home and the job, because that might be something that might be very popular for people, you know, that do many times in their life, or at least once or twice in their lives. If they're buying a home, what might be some things that people should think about criteria-wise that maybe sometimes get overlooked? Are there some areas that are classic, like, oh, people usually never think about this piece of it, and they might want to put that into the decision making?
Well, the thing about criteria is that people have to be very honest. Right. They have to be really honest about what they want. And I'm not sure that there is the good criteria or bad criteria. It's about what you want. It's like buying a car. You and your wife decide collectively that the car should cost no more than, that the car should be able to hold all the kids that you have. Maybe you have 5 kids and it has to be big enough. But what you really want is a car that you'll look good in. Right. But you never put that on the table. So you never say that.
You never say it, even though that's one of those
unspoken
criteria.
So when you go to the dealer, you look at all these cars, and your wife is so confused because you keep saying, no, that one's not going to work.
But that fits 5. It's easy to get in and out. And you're thinking,
good mileage. But you keep saying no, because in your mind, you don't look good in that vehicle. Right. See, because you never put that on the table. So criteria is personal and it's unique. It's whoever the stakeholders are in the decision, they have to agree that these are the things collectively that we want. If you're the only stakeholder, the decision is a lot easier.
Oh yeah, then
you don't have to worry about
there might be a compromise between the two,
right.
you know.
But husband and wife, you both got to put it on the table,
right?
And you've got to be able to agree, and then you've got to agree on the value,
right.
how important that is collectively.
Right.
And then there's compromise and negotiation.
Right.
But I'm not sure that there is classic criteria that everyone should have or include. I think it's more about being
more
honest.
Personal, right.
Yeah, people have a lot of hidden agendas that they don't share.
Right.
And when you have a hidden agenda, you're sure to be displeased.
Right.
Because it's not going to get satisfied.
Right.
Because it was hidden.
Right. That's true.
That's
so
right.
Bring it out, especially with
You've
yourself. You're only
bring it
dealing
out.
with it. Be
That's
honest
right.
with yourself. Doesn't mean you have to share with anybody, but be honest with
You've
yourself.
got to be honest, yes.